As more time goes on and the closer we get to Ahsoka, I gotta be honest, I'm getting more and more excited. You all know my thoughts on the recent Star Wars shows, but if you don't, to keep it short, I've been very disappointed overall. I love The Mandalorian Season 1 and 2, but everything after that, besides Andor, has just been either mediocre or, in my opinion, a complete letdown. But with Ahsoka, this feels a bit different. I don't want to get my excitement up too much, but now with this new lightsaber fight clip they just released, and while it is short, things are looking good for the show. I think the choreography is great, and I love how Ahsoka uses the impaled droid as a shield against Merrick. I know, it is short, and so it's not worth going too much into, but I am happy with it so far. Also, the war criminal that is Chopper is amazing. So welcome back everyone to another Star Wars news update video. This time going over a major change that Lucasfilm made out of nowhere for the release of Ahsoka. As well, I'll be going over initial reviews and opinions for the first 2 episodes of this season, as they did do a press release and many of my close friends were lucky enough to get media access for it. But before I get into it, I just want to thank you all for the support on the channel and ask if you could quickly give this video a like. It helps me out a lot, and also comment something random down below. I mean, talk about Chopper's war crimes for all I care. But to start, let's talk about initial reviews and reactions for episodes 1 and 2. To put it simply, they've so far been pretty great, but there is some concern I've seen some mentioned that I'll go over. But overall, yes, the reactions have been pretty positive so far. I've even had some of my friends who actually are pretty critical of Disney Star Wars admit that this so far is their favorite Star Wars show. Yes, even better than the first 2 Mandalorian seasons. Now this could be due to the freshness of their initial viewing. You know, as time goes on, we typically analyze media in a more sophisticated and less biased way. But again, these people aren't just simps for Disney who love every frame of the movies and shows that are put out, and instead are certainly critical of the content that's released. So for me, this is a great sign. The Mandalorian Season 2 remains my favorite Star Wars show, or season of a Star Wars show, but after seeing the initial reactions and reading a lot of the leaks that appeared to be accurate, I gotta say, Ahsoka might replace my #1 spot in my rankings, and may give me just a bit more hope for the future of Star Wars, at least when it comes to the live-action shows. Now, a critique that some of my buddies have had, or more so an observation they've had, is that the first 2 episodes are a bit on the slower side when it comes to the pacing. Now, this isn't inherently a bad thing, as Andor is honestly a masterpiece, and that show has rather slow pacing throughout the entirety of the 12 episodes, but due to its brilliant writing, it flows very, very well. So with that, as excited as I am, this next piece of news has me praising the wills of the Force for this change that Lucasfilm has made literally out of nowhere, and I hope this change is going to be a permanent one. This change is for the release date and time of Ahsoka. So originally, the Star Wars shows would drop at like 2 a.m. where I live, and so due to my work schedule, it just was not worth staying up that late. So I either had to wake up super early and watch the latest episode half awake, in which case I would forget pretty much everything that happened by the time I'm in my car driving to work, or I would suffer through my shift with all my social media apps deleted to keep away from spoilers until I get home to watch it. But finally, they're fixing this. Star Wars revealed that the first 2 episodes of Ahsoka are going to be released on Tuesday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And not just that, but this will remain the case for the entire season moving forward. I can't explain how thankful I am for this change. This means it's going to be releasing at 8 p.m. my time, as I am in the Central Time Zone, which is typically right when I get home from work. So no more worrying about spoilers, no more deleting all my social media apps, which, to be honest, wasn't even a bad thing, but still. This is a fantastic decision, and I praise whoever decided to implement this. Thank you. I can't believe it's taken this long, but my main wish is that they continue this release time for all the upcoming Star Wars shows. I'm sure they're using Ahsoka as a sort of test run for this idea. I remember Game of Thrones would release on Sunday evenings, and because of this, it almost turned it into a sort of event. You know, you got all these events for these shows, and especially sports like Super Bowl Sunday or Football Sunday, whatever it's called. I don't really watch sports, but I think the same thing could happen for the Star Wars shows if they continue this. You know, call it ton Tano Tuesdays for all I care. As stupid as that sound, that builds a lot of hype. And in fact, I might invite some of my buddies over to watch Ahsoka this Tuesday since it's releasing at a reasonable time. And while yes, you still could have done this if this was being released at the typical time the Star Wars shows typically release, as it's on a streaming platform, meaning you can watch it whenever you please. But this change takes away the sort of rush we get when an episode is released, or that feeling to need to stay up super late just so you can keep yourself from being spoiled and not miss out on anything. Again, I hope they see a positive influx because of this and will decide to continue this schedule for the future Star Wars shows. But at the end of the day, I am just very, very happy for this change. I just thank whoever is in charge of this, whoever decided to implement this. I hope it goes well for them, but I am certainly happy for this. So will Ahsoka be the next great thing for Star Wars? I certainly hope so. The franchise needs a major hit. After many, many disappointments, I do believe Dave Filoni has what it takes to bring this godforsaken fandom back together, and also hopefully get the general audience's hype back on board for Star Wars to turn it into a mega franchise once again. It's going to be a lot of work, and despite many fans leaving and giving up, I strongly believe if we get a few successful projects in a row that are extremely popular, the hype could be brought back. It's going to take a lot of work, but I know it can be done. It is possible. Only time will tell. But guys, what do you all think about this? As I said, as you can tell, I am very, very excited for this change. I'm going to be calling it Tano Tuesdays. I don't care how stupid that sounds. That's what I'm going to be calling it. If Ahsoka is a total dumpster fire, I'm going to have a complete Star Wars meltdown. It's going to be terrible because I really do believe this show has a lot on the line. I think especially after Mando Season 2, Kenobi, the Book of Boba Fett, I mean, it's just mistake after mistake after mistake, at least in my and many others' opinions. They really need to get things back in order, and especially the movies. Where the heck are the movies at, guys? Come on, it's Lucasfilm, and we haven't had a film, or at least a Star Wars film, in so long, and the last film they did put out is losing like hundreds of millions of dollars for them. So, I mean, the whole thing's a complete mess, and, you know, I think new management, new leadership, something is needed when it comes to change, because we can't just keep going through this rinse and repeat cycle of getting hyped for something and then being let down, getting hyped again, getting let down again. But so far, Ahsoka does look pretty good. I know I'm rambling on a lot. I just have a lot to say about Star Wars and a lot to say about this show. There's a lot more I could talk about here, but I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this video in this moment. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I really thank you all again for the support. Again, if you could leave a like on it, as it really does help out the channel a lot. And please be sure to subscribe for more Star Wars news, theories, essays, and more. And I'll hopefully see you in the next one.